Hi, my name is Olivia Jackson, and my topic today is cell junction. Cell junction, known as intercellular bridges, are specialized protein structures that provide a physical connection between adjacent cells or between a cell and the extracellular matrix in plants and animals. Cell junction links cells to each other in tissues and regulates tissue homeostasis in critical cell processes that include tissue barrier function, cell proliferation, and migration. The ways of communication in plants and animal cells are different from each other. In plants, we have the plasmodesma. The plasmodesma is numerous channels passing between the cell walls of adjacent plant cells connecting their cytoplasm. This is located between two neighboring plant cells. The structure for the plasmodesma is tube-like structures linking one cell to another. A membrane surrounding the open space of the tube containing tightly packed endoplasmic rectum that runs in the center. Also, cytoplasmic sleeve runs between the desmotubule and the membrane, the sleeve containing actin and myosin, which provides forces to transport. The function for the plasmodesma is active cell components in intercellular transport during development and in the mature tissue. 2. Link tissue cells to one another, which helps the tissue grow and develop. Now we have the animal cells. In the animal cells, we have the tight junction. The tight junction is a selectively permeable seal in the body's internal and external surfaces. It also is creating a small zone occluding the extracellular space, binding two cells together into a leak-proof sheet. The tight junction is located at the border between apical and lateral membranes between the epithelial cells. The structure of the tight junction is composed of numerous essential proteins, including claudins, occludins, junctional adhesion molecules, and zonular occludins. It appears like a series of local seals joined together in a maze-like function. The functions of the tight junction are to serve as a structural support mechanism and to keep adjacent epithelium. The second function is to help prevent the leakage of digestive enzymes into our bloodstream and the digestive system. It keeps allergens out of our bodies as well. Also in the animal cell, we have gap junction. Gap junction is the connection that forms bridges to the cytoplasm of two adjacent cells directly. It occurs throughout the body, including epithelia or body coverings, nerves, cardiac muscle, and smooth muscle. The structures of the gap junction is that each channel comprises two half channels present in each cell membrane. They join together, bridging the extracellular space, and each of these halves are called a caniaxon. The function of the gap junction is that it primarily is to coordinate the activity of adjacent cells. When the heart cells need to be in unison, gap junctions transmit electrical. And lastly, we have the anchoring junctions. The anchoring junction remains anchored to the adjacent cell while being attached to the components of the extracellular matrix. It is commonly found in the tissues prone to constant mechanical stress. The structures of the anchoring junction is composed of several transmembrane linkers. The function of the anchoring junction is one, that it keeps cells held together and in the structural cohesion of tissues, and two, that they stabilize the cell's position, provide stability and support tissue's integrity by holding cells together. There are three types of anchoring junctions. The first one is desmosomes. It is the protein attachment between adjacent cells. It holds together tissue that undergoes considerable stress, such as skin and heart muscle. The second type is hemidesmosome that connects the basal surface of epithelial cells. Lastly, we have the adhering junctions, which is the cytoplasmic actin. Filaments act as the cytoskeleton anchor. I now will be reading out a few questions and the answers to those questions that I have came up with on my own to better inform you guys on my topic. Question number 1 is, which cellular junction is most important in spreading action potentials throughout cardiac muscle? A, desmosomes. B, tight junction. C, valves. And D, gap junction. If you guessed gap junction, you are correct. In order to have the action potential spread evenly and completely throughout the cardiac muscle cells, the cells need junctions that allow for ions to move between them. Question number 2. Which cellular junction acts as a barrier to prevent fluids from passing between cells? A. Gap junction. B. Desmosomes. C. Hemidesmosomes. And D. Tight junction. If you guessed D, tight junctions, you are correct. Cellular junctions allow cells to block materials from moving between cells or for providing communication between cells. Tight junctions are junctions between cells that form a tight seal. This prevents water and other fluids from moving past the cells. The last question is question number 3. The primary role of blank is to bind animal cells together. Can you guess what fills in that blank? The answer is desmosomes. The primary role of desmosomes is to bind cells together. Thank you all for listening, and I am here for any questions, comments, or concerns.